So in the first half, what we looked at is introducing subdivisions onto the hi-hat so we can build more varied grooves. We got as far as playing three-way coordination, playing eighth notes on the hi-hat, 2 and 4 on the snare drum, 1 and 3 on the bass drum. What I want to do now in this second half is build up the 16th note hi-hat pattern, so we've got yet another groove, and then we'll go on to put it all together, which is quite a tricky timing thing.
It's going to get quick, isn't it?
It's going to be quick, so when you're practicing, bear that in mind and probably ratchet down the tempo of the exercises. Yeah. So
really? Okay, so if you're jamming along to one of your tracks, choose a slow one. If you've got the Gigajam software, slow it down. Take it right down.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we'll get straight into exercise 5 here, which is what we're going to do here is we're going to play 16th notes on the hi-hat, typical two-way coordination building thing. I'm going to introduce the bass drum on 1 and 3. But remember, we're playing even more notes on the hi-hat now. So the old right hand will be going quite quickly. It's probably worth just slowing your exercise down, give yourself some counting time, some thinking time as well, to make sure that you're getting it right. This is set at 70. I'm going to drop this down to 60.
Okay, this is 60 BPM.
60 beats in a minute, okay? And then, because I'm getting pretty old these days, so here we go.
1 a second.
Correct. Okay, so 16th notes. You can hear the hi-hat going there, so it's reasonably quick. Bring the bass drum in on 1 and 3. Usual thing, build it up. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... Get all the posture and tempos going, keep your hand nice and even. Introduce the bass drum.
You're looking relaxed there, Brian.
I'm trying to be. 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E. 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a...
Counting out loud to keep your tempo. Yes,
counting out loud to keep your tempo. Try and keep your concentration up as well.
Don't get distracted by girls with red spiky hair.
Definitely not. Oh, I think I was there. 4 E and of course, I'm just playing this exercise, you know, round and round here. Just to give the viewers at home an idea that just don't play it once or twice. You've really got to play it quite a lot.
This is all about the muscle memory, isn't it?
Yes, it's about, you know, teaching your hand, teaching your arm or your foot what the motion is. So the repetition of that motion is what will make the muscles remember the motion and make it relaxed when you repeat it. So the more you repeat it, the more relaxed it gets. So what we've done there, as I've said before, we've built the two-way coordination up with the hi-hat pattern and introducing the bass drum. That's how I tend to work. The right hand and the foot. You can do it the other way around.
Why is that?
Well, it's just, it feels quite natural to me to come from the right hand. Some people get the foot in first and then bring the hi-hat in. Should be able to do both. But when you're learning, just do the one that gets you there.
The one that feels most good for you.
Absolutely. So what we're going to do now is do the other side of the two-way coordination, which is probably, you're going to tell me...
with the snare drum.
Very good. So you're on the case. That was a close call, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay, let's dive straight into it. So we're going to do exactly the same thing again, but hi-hat with the snare drum. Bring the hi-hat in first, bring the snare drum in second, count, concentrate. Again, it's 16th notes, so I'm going to just drop the tempo down a little bit to help the old man out here.
Take it down to 60 BPM.
Drop it down to 60.
Does it go slower than that?
It does. Yeah, it goes as slow as you'd like it to.
Good.
Well, but 60's quite comfortable. Here we go. 2 E and a 3 E and a... So you've got your count in. Get yourself sitting comfortably. Make sure you know what you're doing. Then go for it when you're ready. And a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a...
How are you feeling with that?
Not too bad.
Good.
So I'm going to bring in the snare drum now.
On 3 and 4.
4, correct. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. When you become more comfortable, you don't have to count all of the 16th notes.
Oh, really?
Well, when you become more and more familiar, you naturally remember what's going on. Your hand gets into a pattern. But it's well worth counting them. Make sure you're playing what you think you're supposed to be playing. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E, 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E 4-E-ander.
1. Oh, it
Hey.
stopped just as I was getting into the groove.
Hey, often like that.
Indeed it is.
Just a little technical point, if I may introduce that.
Yep.
When you're playing your 16th notes, there probably is a tendency to play slightly lower on the hi-hat in terms of your arm pattern. You haven't got as much time to move away and make larger motions.
You mean playing closer to it?
Exactly.
Right.
So the stick is more likely to be coming a shorter distance away from the hi-hat each time.
Mm-hmm.
Now that can give you the impression of feeling a little bit cramped with the hand underneath.
Yes.
So quite a lot of students, and when you're playing, you get stick knocking.
Well,
Okay?
I had that in practice, didn't I?
Absolutely.
Thankfully, you didn't see it.
Yes, just trying to convince everybody that you've been practicing.
No, I did.
But, moving on. So you can get that thing going on. I find it a little bit difficult to reproduce now.
Well.
But anyway, so that sort of cramp sensation is one that students come up with. That's fine. Work with it. Get used to the height of the stick. I'll just play a couple of bars, and you'll just see a slight adjustment to give myself a little bit more space under the hand.
So you're just moving it up slightly when it comes to that second and fourth beat.
Yeah, I'm aware that there's a limited amount of space, and it's one of those. There's a big discussion point in drumming circles of how you deal with that, but I just take a little bit of movement out. Also creates a bit of lopiness in the hi-hat pattern. Instead of having tick 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 tick, you end up with more of a tint kind of sound.
Giving an accent.
Yeah, it gives a bit of an accent, gives a bit of a wave to the performance as well. So that actually helps your sound to a large degree. Okay, so moving on, I want to put the whole thing together, and then we've got a final exercise which focuses on timekeeping. So, two-way coordination, just to recap, hi-hat, bass drum.
Yes.
Two-way coordination, hi-hat, snare drum. Let's put the whole thing together.
Three-way coordination.
Correct, in exercise 7 here. So again, I'm going to play along with the track to keep me in time. It's for the best, quite frankly.
Any excuse.
Any excuse. And what I'm going to do here is, again, build up through my two-way coordination up to my three-way coordination. Okay.
Starting on the hi-hat.
Yep.
Then bringing in the bass.
I'll bring in the bass, then the snare. Any combination of those two is absolutely fine. I'm going to drop it down to 60 so I don't embarrass myself. And here we go. 2, 3-E-ander, 4-E-ander. So bring in the hi-hat.
Yeah.
Get a good sense of the tempo. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. That feels good. In with the bass drum. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, feeling settled.
Yeah.
I think I'll bring in the snare drum next bar.
Looking relaxed as well.
2, you're very kind. 3,
Thank you.
4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Feel okay?
Yeah, I feel fine.
Okay, great. So again, as always, what you would do is practice that exercise round and round and round, and then get some examples of music that you could play along with.
Yeah.
Again, because you've got some 16th notes in there, try and find some slow tracks from your record collection so that you can play along with those. And again, most music in common time, that pattern's going to fit. Right, I'm going to get a wriggle on here, if I may.
You may.
Because I really want to get this last exercise in, which is developing control of subdivisions on the hi-hat.
All right.
Now, this is quite advanced, really, but I'm going to introduce it now because I think it's very important that people can play the different subdivisions and the grooves in the hi-hat. We're going to play exercise 8. You're going to play a bar of rock groove with quarter notes on the hi-hat. Then we're going to play the same bar of rock groove, but with 8th notes.
All right.
Then we're going to play the same bar of rock groove with 16th notes.
And then are we going to loop it round and
then
keep going?
we're going to loop it round and round and keep going. And that is great timekeeping exercise. Now, we're going to play it at around 60 beats per minute.
Few.
So it's going to sound slow in the first bar, but by the time we get to the last one, it's going to sound pretty quick.
All right, then.
Okay? So knock it down to 60. I'll give you about 30 or 40 seconds of this and see if you can hear it. Here we go. Bar of quarter notes, 8th notes, then 16ths.
Good luck.
2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a and again 1, 2.
That's our quarter
3.
notes.
Quarter notes. 8, 2 and 3 and
4 and
1E and a 2E and a 3E. There you go. Back again round to the quarter notes, and you would practice that around and around and get used to those changes. So the change from the quarter to the eighths, the eighths to the 16ths, 16ths back to the quarter.
Keeping it going round.
Absolutely.
Practice makes perfect.
As always.